here. Again, we're
Okay.
move this out of the way. This here to here. So we have a. See, if I put it up, I can't see what people are writing,
Right.
so that's the issue. So let me just move this here. Page. Do it this way. That'll make it easier for us to see. This will.
Okay.
That way.
So we've got all but the margins.
We have essentially everything that you see there. We can see. We don't move this. Someone's watching. So, Mr. Waskowitz, find a pen of yours to look at here.
Yeah, I thought I'd pull out something modern this time.
Okay, well, and that's
a Twisby Draco.
Yes, and that one matches the, hold it over the candle, there we go. And that matches the, our tablecloth, which I think there's a little part of Jason that's grossed out that we're eating off of a rug. But that
depends on if it was used as a rug before.
I'm sure 100 years ago it was. So it's 100-year-old germs, but they're all dead by now, I'm sure. Well, that's pretty fancy. I bet it's lighter, way lighter than I thought. I thought it would be heavier.
Yeah, it looks like it should be heavier. It's,
it's big.
Yeah, probably just acrylic.
With some helium mixed in just to pull it up. See, this has that big cliff there. That.
And I hold it a little lower so it doesn't bother me, but that's something I've heard from people is.
It's again the thing that I generally find bothersome to my fingers.
Yeah, see, if that was a centimeter lower, I wouldn't like this pen. But
so you clutch it way to the.
Yeah, I usually hold them close. That one, at least, I hold closer, and it could be me adapting to.
Okay, see, this is a pen that I might prefer to, because I have a feeling if I was using this, I might do this kind of stuff, and the cap. Again, this issue right here.
Yeah.
The cap hits this part of my finger. I'd always feel that by my moving, I would knock the cap off, and I would fall on the floor and crack and break, and I'd be upset. I have a feeling this is going to fail my test. Yep. But again, I'm not pressing down as fast as you were. It's failing my test too. Is it?
I can't
full?
remember how it did when I actually reviewed it. Well, there is still ink in it, so it could be, traveling in a
hot car.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because I know I was really pleased with it after I reviewed it.
I don't want to. The horrible thing is about giving any pen to someone and having that someone tell you how unhappy they are.
Yeah.
And makes them feel. And you can't help but feel like you're telling me that my daughter has.
Well, as long as you don't say anything about my Aurora 88, we'll be okay.
I won't say anything about your. Is that the one that I said something about already? Is that the?
Yeah, that's
the one with the cap that slipped off.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of them I liked very much. the other one had that issue that what did we say it was? It was the blind cap. It was the end.
Yeah.
But I really think that's a sexy pen. Hello, Gary Scott. Is the skip due to the ink on the paper? Well, there is a skipping that happens when the oils of your hand get on the paper and you're writing over something you've already written. It'll skip right where it hits where your hand hit. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah, especially in the summer.
So Uh, so that is a problem. It isn't a problem with this particular time and place and with this particular pen. I think it's probably because maybe it traveled poorly and needs to have a new ink put in or something. Also, this paper, I know you probably have your Momo or whatever journals you use these days.
I had to give those up. They switched paper, and the new paper is awful.
Oh, here, Effects Technol is here. Would you like to join us, Effects Technol? Because one of your heroes is here in person. Effects it lives in the Midwest, except they almost call that East where you live. He's Ohio.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, that's kind of
on the cusp.
Kind of like where we are now is it West or is it Midwest?
Yeah. And he can for a bit, he said, so I'll invite him. But anyway, he's a journal keeper and a paste. Swallowed. Went down the garbage.
All the viewers get seasick.
Go. I'm going to do this. I'm switching it this way so you can see I'm moving it down a little bit. So it's easier for you to see. Oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, you gotta. That's okay. I can see the screen. I just can't see the conversation.
Okay, here's Effects Technol. Oops, add to stream. Okay, so there you are. Look at that.
Hello.
He can't see you. That's him.
Okay.
So I'm aiming you down, Mitch. Your commentary. Well, I don't have to read your commentary because you're.
Yeah, I'll just provide running commentary for everyone.
Well, Mitch, this is Waski. Waski, this is Mitch.
I actually got to talk to Waski once before.
Yeah, it was on your channel.
On your channel.
Well, you get to talk to him again.
It's look like a reunion of sorts.
Yeah, and we're playing with pens and paper right now, and Waski has his pens at his side of the table, and I have mine over here. Though mine are just the debris field of what happens to be here. His are all in nice little loops, but he has an Aurora 88 like you do.
Oh yeah.
Don't you have one? He has two. He has two of them.
One inked up.
Well, I have one of these.
Okay, that's a little bit newer model of the.
Yeah, it's an 88p.
Okay, yeah, this is one of the Nick Argenta Aurora 88s. One of the early
What
ones.
exactly is Nick Argenta? It's nickel silver, but it's not actually silver?
Yeah, I did know when I made the video, but I've kind of forgotten.
Well, nickel silver is also called eight something silver. Where's what's his name? Friedrich when we need him.
Yeah, that's definitely something Friedrich would know. Yes.
Yeah, it's an alloy of silver that has more nickel in it. And I'll just look it up on my device if I can find where my device is. Probably left it.
Who cares? We're playing with pins now. Let's have fun.
It's a silver that isn't as shiny, and it tarnishes. It doesn't tarnish the same way, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I think it might be stronger because they make watches and jewelry out of nickel silver as well.
So this one's the Nick Argenta.
Okay.
This one, I don't know if I'll be able to read that in this light. It has words.
And those have the really nice, like, semi-flexible nibs and everything too, right?
Yeah, this one especially is flexible. I don't know if the code, I know there's supposed to be a code about what they put on the top here, but this one's a
mine doesn't have that anymore because I had to fix it. So mine just has a screw in there now.
You have what in there?
There's usually a little, like a wax thing that was in here that covers the screw, and they put a little stamp in here that was supposed to denote the type of nib that it had.
Oh.
At least on the original 88s.
Yeah.
But I had to replace the piston seals in this thing. So I had to take it all apart, and I lost the little whatever piece was in here that covered the screw.
Now, I bet you and the cat were having fun that day on the ground, on the floor, for
Probably.
until you finally gave up. So we had fun today, kind of, sort of. It's hot here, so when we actually got out of the car and walked around outside, I was having a hard time. But we went to the Minnesota Mill Museum, which was under construction, though they were shoring up the crumbling facade, I think is what they were doing, and we couldn't actually go in. But we hung out on the riverbank, and I did some drawings, and Waski went around and did some photographs, which I guess he'll probably post. And then we visited a watch guy, and
well, that's fun.
And then we went to a secondhand bookstore. Waski bought a book, and then what else did we had lunch and came back here? And then I played the part of a rude host, and I said, I'm taking a nap. You fend for yourself. But the heat just did a number. I also slept on the couch last night. So
is it the humidity more than anything? Because that's how it is here.
It's probably similar. I mean, they say that, but it's.
Yeah, I will say it's very humid here. I am not used to this humidity.
I mean, when it's like 90 degrees, but it's 100% humidity, it's worse than being 100 degrees and no humidity, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
No, it's a wet heat, and so we, but we did some thing this morning where we were trading off pens to play with, and we're doing a little bit more of that here, and but this is Waski's first meet face-to-face in real time, in a real place, pen chat with someone. Now, how many of you...
the kids call that IRL peer.
IRL, real life? Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Now, have you met someone in real life or not? I mean, in pen collecting.
You mean me?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
But you're still a virgin too, huh?
Yeah, I'm.
Okay. Well,
still a virgin.
Was I gentle? Was I gentle with you?
Yeah, it was.
He just gave me a look like,
be gentle. It's again? My first time.
But
luckily, driving was a little scary.
I took the wheel. Waski is a very cautious driver.
And very small town driver.
And you can't be cautious in a city, otherwise you'll never get out of the driveway.
That's exactly why I don't like cities, because
so Waski, the life went before his eyes when I went when I went a few times. I'm sorry, it was a few.
Well, I'm not currently set up to have my camera pointed at my paper or anything, but I can do my normal routine of showing off some cool pins at the very least.
Schaefer, yeah.
This is one I just got repaired and I posted on Instagram. It's a first gen Triumph, of course, but it has a really cool broad nib.
And that's the one you got from Rob.
Yeah, I got this one from Rob Morrison.
You got it from, you said from Instagram, meaning you.
I posted it, the pictures of this.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a recent post of mine.
Okay, I saw that. Okay. But you bought it, did you buy it from Rob on eBay?
Yes, I bought it from Rob.
On eBay? On eBay? An auction?
Yeah, on eBay.
Oh, good. Well,
and it went for way too cheap a price, in my opinion.
Well, good. I mean, I'm glad you got it for, I'm sorry for Rob, but.
I'm glad too, but it's a relatively uncommon nib to have on one of these pens. So. Yeah. That's why I figured it was worth getting restored.
It's a pen that he wouldn't bother having if he wanted to keep it himself and was in love with it, but he probably has a number of those pens that maybe are I guess they would never be level, will they?
Well, I'm certainly happy to have it. So.
Well, I'm glad you have it, and I'm glad that he sold it to you because, and I'm glad that he's happy that you're happy. But
I got a
very rare
one
for him
here.
it's very rare for him to sell a pen that doesn't work. Is that a Maxima?
No, it's just a
That's
standard.
the standard, but a double jewel.
Yeah, it's a double jewel.
Those
1937.
yeah, and it's in green.
Yeah, the green stripe. And it's I don't know, about a medium or so.
Yeah, that.
But these are so great because they have the celluloid section that actually matches the rest of the pen.
Yeah, that particular pen is. I remember doing the famous drawing of the ape that turns into a human. The
evolution thing.
I did one with vacuumatics that way because
that's pretty clever.
Like the first vacuumatic, the vacuum filler was really clumsy looking, and then it got a little fancier, and then it got, the later slender Maxima is sort of the epitome, but it's that version that you have, that the standard with the 3 bands, that is, I liken it to Gary Cooper.
I like these because they're slightly larger in diameter than normal, like later 3rd gen vacuumatics.
And they're a little awkward in their proportions. The cap is a little shorter and the barrel a little longer. And there's something clumsy about that. Later on, when they sort of even them out a bit, it's like the first generation streamlined Schaefer, where the cap
I can see what you mean by that.
And there's just something clumsy about that. And it's something that's like Gary Cooper is not Cary Grant, but Gary Cooper is really, I used to not like Gary Cooper at all, but I really love him as an actor now. And Cary Grant you can't not like. But there's something that Gary Cooper's handsomeness is hidden,
I get what you're saying. Like, there's something still endearing about this particular model of vacuumatic that I don't get from the other vacuumatics.
Yeah, it's the weird proportion, I think, is one of them. And it's like it's almost like a missing link or something.
In a way, you could see
where it was coming from and where it was going to.
Where it started out almost like a prototype stage. Not that it's a prototype, but the successive generations, they continued to refine it.
And the refinement made it. If you imagine its progeny, it's just ancestorage.
Ancestry.
As being the duofold, and it slowly, and it was going to turn into the vacuumatic. That particular pen right there is the Archaeopteryx,
The Archaeopteryx.
Because it has a little bit of both, but it's mainly, it's pretty much it's
got feathers, but it's got dinosaur fangs too.
There's just something about that particular pen that does it. And occasionally you have those, like the Imperial Vac is the Archaeopteryx between the Vac and the 51.
Yeah, those Imperials are so weird.
And the same thing with the Imperial Schaefers. The vertical stripe with the metal cap and the screw cap and the threads in the weird place. You know the ones I'm talking about, right?
Right, the ones where the threads are up at the top of the section.
Yeah, the top of the section. They're perverse. It's like what genetic malfunction happened here? That's number 1. Shaded number 1.
I can be arty once
in a while. You can be arty once in a while, yep. I'm going to see if
you probably remember this pen, don't you, Pierre?
I bet I can. Did you buy that from me?
Yeah, this came from you.
Well, I do
It was
remember.
the Black Valiant, and it's one of
Oh,
the larger diameter ones.
oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know why you got rid of this pin because this nib is so good.
Hmm.
Not to rub it in or anything, but
I think the one I kept for myself.
well, this one is it's just a medium, and it's
Yeah.
definitely a Johnny one note nib, but I like that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think the one I kept is here. And it was one of the ones that I brought home to leave here.
Right.
And it has a nib that's really fine, and it seems like this should have a really loud Johnny one note basso profundo, because the whole pen is all muscle bound. It's like it's
Right,
it's
and yet it still has this
bodybuilding.
really delicate, dainty,
And
fine
it's
line of a nib on it.
tiny voice, and yet
Right.
he's goes to the gym and he's Mr. America, but but his voice is so quiet, and he raises gladiola when he's not in the ring pummeling someone to death, and it's that surprise that your nib belongs on the pen more than this one, but this is the
Yeah.
surprise.
What are
So,
you writing with, Waski? Is that one of those little tiny Triumph Imperials?
Yes,
that is.
Yeah. Those things are so cool, aren't they?
they are. I enjoy this one.
Yeah, I have like 3 or 4 of those, and they're really cool pins.
I sent you one of those, and you returned it.
One of them. I kept like the other 2 or 3.
Okay. Well, there's one you returned. I only
Yeah.
remember the sad parts. Like,
Now I have a couple of those that have gold nibs, and a couple that are palladium silver, and a couple of them are cartridge. One of them's a touchdown.
I think this one's palladium. Yeah. I can't tell in this light.
in this light, everything looks gold. You're in the golden light of the Gustafson household. Everything is gold.
Actually, this might be steel.
I don't think any of those were steel.
Oh,
if
so
it's not a gold nib, then it's palladium silver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure they weren't just silver? I mean, silver, whatever the cheapest silver thing, steel?
I'm pretty sure that those were actually one of the last palladium silver nibs that they made.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that's still like a mid-range pin in Schaefer's price tier. The only Schaefer's that came with steel nibs were like really cheap school pins, essentially.
Cartridge pens, probably.
Cartridge pins exclusively, pretty much.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I have one of those. It's definitely a steel. It's an inlaid nib.
Like the little fingernail nib type things.
Yeah, Pier has one here that's sort of like it, except mine's all black plastic.
This one.
Yeah, I think some of those might actually have been steel, but yeah, if you check that nib with a magnet, it will not stick to it. So
okay.
Unless you filled it with Nathan's iron.
Yeah, unless you fill it with
ink.
ferrofluid ink or something. Yeah.
Yes. I'm gonna turn on this light that's overhead a little brighter. So you can see what we're writing perfectly fine, but Waski can't see.
I can see there's something written between Schaefer and probably made in the USA, but I can't make out what it is. I'm wondering if that'll say palladium silver.
Some of them actually do have palladium silver imprinted on the nib.
Oh, never mind. It's a little trademark. A little art.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't as dramatic as I expected.
Let me dig around here. Here's some of the ones I got from Pier that are like that.
Oh.
There's like the brushed stainless. And this particular one is actually a 14 karat.
Oh. I have a touchdown filler that's like that. It's a 14 karat with a...
I turned on the light and gave him a loop.
Yeah, here's the interesting thing. I have another one that's visually identical from the outside. And this other one is a palladium silver.
Okay.
And it actually says palladium silver on it.
That one you got from me.
Yeah, both of these I got from you.
I recognize the sort of faded part of the section.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know what that material is. If it's some sort of weird composite material or whatever it was, but all those pins have a little band there between the actual plastic section and the nib where it's like discolored. They're all like that for some reason.
It's like it's made of hard rubber that turns gray rather
than it's like in how ebonite can discolor.
Yeah.
And here's the
try this one, Waski. This is the pen that he was talking about. It's a large diameter Triumph nib. Now, it is a very fine nib, which you probably won't like, but
yeah, I'm a big fan of those. The Triumphs like that.
Verse writing too on it too. Okay. It's a pen that you might feel a little afraid to be heavy-handed with, which is a good thing because I don't think it would like that. But there's something really. This also seems like I might have another one of these, Mitch, at home. There's something about the lever that looks a little funky.
I have one more of these. This is either a Schaefer Target or an Imperial 3, which is basically the same pen.
Okay.
But this one it's actually a palladium silver nib, but it's gold plated right here.
Oh.
So it's backwards. It's a palladium silver nib with gold plating on it rather than a gold nib with platinum plating on it. And this one's a, touchdown.
Okay.
And that was the reason they did the two-tone nib was they somehow suggested that the ink would prefer to go down a palladium silver channel. Is that what they were?
Used that as a marketing thing, saying that by plating the nibs, it made it better for ink wettability or something. But I don't know if it really makes a difference.
It's a bunch of crap.
That sounds like that thing Delta did with their Fusion nib a few years ago. Shortly before.
Oh yeah, or where they've put like little things on top of the nib to hold
they just
in there and
hold on to it. What's the point?
I don't know. I find that normal nibs with nothing else on them have worked perfectly fine for well over 100 years. So
try this one, Waski. This is 52.
Ooh.
Sterling, so it's a 452.
Oh.
It has a fake. The lever was replaced with a nickel lever, and it's missing its clip, so I have a slip-on clip. But it's the weight of the pen compared to the standard 52. I was just wondering what you.
Yeah, it feels heavier than my 52.
Yeah, so here's a 52 essentially for you to compare. It's just there's something when I do fill up a Sterling pen, I really love that extra weight that it gives it. It's noticeably.
That's pretty cool. That one's like a standard length version of the Sterling Waterman I have, because mine's like a 452.5 V or something.
Yeah.
Mine's kind of tiny. That one's like a normal size 52.
This is a normal 52 size. Yeah.
Right.
And yours is thinner and shorter.
Yeah.
But it's just they are so different, these things, and that's why we have to have more than one. And yet, someone that doesn't write with the pen will see obviously a difference, but they won't feel the difference. We want them to feel the difference.
It must. They all didn't come with that that gold band on, did they?
No.
I'm thinking mine doesn't have one.
The gold band usually came on the cap lip. Usually came only on the smooth, unchased.
Yeah, mine's chased.
And the chased ones had gold bands elsewhere, but they didn't have them just on that little part, which I think is it's understated.
Mm-hmm.
It's Gary Cooper when he has to go to a dinner. Okay, what is this?
That is a Geha.
Oh, Geha, yeah.
Not, one of my best Gehas, but it's a.
It's a sweet Geha, and
Yeah.
it has its price stickers, I'm afraid.
Well, the C, I want to say, is the type of nib.
Is that what that price sticker said?
Oh, is there a price sticker on
well,
it?
whatever this thing is.
Yeah, there's a C on it.
Okay.
I did know what that's. It's German, of course, so it's.
I had a Geha pin,
German
but I
word
gifted it
starts
to a
with
friend.
What German word starts with a C? They all start with K's, those German words. Krank. This is a lovely little nib. This again reminds me of a. It reminds me a little bit of your Aurora. I mean, it has the same sort of stepped. Or
I wonder if
down.
it's a shorthand nib.
Oh.
Yeah, what would shorthand in German be? Is it something that starts with a C?
I don't know. I'm just trying.
Yeah,
to have
I don't know either.
German pen with a C on it.
Where's what's his name? Where's why can't I remember Friedrich's name when I need to?
Oh yeah, I was talking to him just a couple nights ago.
No. This is the nib I got from you, Mitch, that I put in this silver colored. It's not sterling, but silver colored overlay, and it fit nicely. It's
cool.
It skips a little bit, but I tend to use these pens only with an ink bottle, so
Right.
I dip. So there's just this gob of ink there, but I can do an entire envelope with it, and which
Well, that's not half bad for a Frankenpen.
no, it's very good for a Frankenpen. I mean, 99 times out of 100, my Frankenpens involve using a dip pen nib, and which are shaped differently, as you know, than a regular flattened. They're more flat at the top. But I do sometimes do a Frankenpen where I'll put a Schaefer nib in a Parker pen, and that's or something like that. And the only time I did that, the last time I did that was with that very slender Eversharp gold fill pen, late slip cap thing after the Symphony pen.
Oh yeah,
They're called an Envoy, I think, and the nib that came with it was just
like one of these or the later one.
Later.
Okay.
It's a slip cap.
Oh yeah, because that's still a screw cap on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has a gold fill barrel as well. So it's like a Skyline fell into the machine by mistake. And but the nib was Johnny One Note and broad by my comparison. It just did not belong in that pen. So I found a Schaefer number 3 nib, from a late, Craftsman era kind of thing, or whatever those pens were. And I put that in it, and it was perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to experiment more with various nib swap procedures. The coolest nib swap thing I've done so far is this neat little Bexley pen that was gifted to me, and it's actually.
And is this another one of your people you don't want us to know about that gave that to you?
This was a completely different person that gave me this.
You able to hypnotize? No one gives.
I gave them a pen first, though, and they gave me this one as a thank you.
I see. Okay.
Right. But when I got it, it had a perfectly usable, regular, boring steel fine nib in it.
Okay.
And I like this pen enough, and it's very well made, and it's good materials. It looks nice. I thought this pen really deserves something better than just a boring, steel nib. And for whatever reason, I happen to have a Pelican M800 nib as a spare.
Oh wow.
And daggone if it did not fit this pen perfectly.
Well, you just improved the value of that thing.
Well, it's like putting $3,000 wheels on a $300 car, but
It's like Jed Clampett finding oil under his property.
right. That's it. I mean, it writes exactly like a Pelican M800 does. It just feels different.
Well, as well it should.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Waski, here is a pen that only its mother might love, and that's only might. It's it was a disappointment for the father from the get-go. No, it was probably a lovely pen at one point. It's a Moore, large size Moore. It has a crack on the lever. It has the clip had been bent and then bent back badly. The nib is loose, or the ring is loose. But and it's
Sounds like a Murphy's Law pen to me. Everything that
Yeah.
can go wrong did.
And oddly enough, though, the thing that normally goes wrong with Moores is the nibs crack, and this one didn't. But there's something really, really nice about the size of it. It's almost the size of a dual fold senior. I mean, it's a little thinner than that, but it's very long.
Yeah, it's really long.
Long pen. Now here, this is a pen where you can be your usual self, Waski. You can be heavy-handed. I think he's afraid of being heavy-handed with my pens because a lot of them are kind of the delicate kind. But okay, make it do that.
I'm always afraid
my
to put
own
it down.
experience.
Make it do
I don't even do that to my own.
Well, I know you don't. I mean, it's like, there you go. I mean,
Like everything that I had when I started out was just like plain, medium, round tipping, stiff fountain pen nibs
that are very smooth.
that are very smooth.
Yeah.
And for like the last year, I have been really going into the opposite end of the spectrum and really super fine nibs. And I found from doing that, as well as playing with flex nibs as well, that it's helped me break free of my habit of being overly heavy-handed with fountain pens.
So maybe that could be a Waski exercise for the future. Now, has that made you, though, dislike because I don't want this to happen to anyone, to dislike the pens that you used to love? Or is it expanded your love of pens?
It's expanded my repertoire more than limited me, I would have to say.
Yeah.
Because now I have all kinds of different pens inked up at, the same time. I have huge broads and obliques all the way down to needle points, and I can switch between them interchangeably.
Yeah. Waski, this one is, this is a Parker VS, they were called.
Okay.
And
VSs are awesome.
They feel like a dual fold. There's a little button back here.
Okay.
And they look like a 51 almost. I put a 51 cap on this one, though. The caps are really, really boring looking on these pens. Really boring. And but I put a 51 on it. This has a
that's a VS cap.
yeah, look at the VS cap.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't have the arrow. It's
it's a really plain, no ornamentation. It's got a gray jewel, but that's about it.
It's like the dual fold.
The clip is really boring.
Yeah. But there's something about the pen that I think is quite lovely. Often because you think it's a 51 and it has a real nib, so you sort of have this experience with it that's a little bit different. They often had clear plastic.
Yeah, mine has one.
Which suck. They don't flow well, those clear plastic.
I have one of those.
Check that out.
See, look, Waski.
Oh, okay.
It's totally transparent. It's basically plexiglass.
But
it's a really neat idea, but it does not flow ink very well. I mean, it works, but not like an ebonite feed at all.
I think if one wrote slowly, I think it would work fine for you. But because when you're writing, you're often writing.
Mine has a quite an extra fine nib on it,
Is it
and the
flexible?
feed does keep up okay, but
Is it flexible at all?
not really. You
Not
can
really.
squeeze a little line variation out of it, but it's not really. I wouldn't even call it semi-flex.
Okay.
Guess I didn't bring. I would sworn I had a pen with a clear feed with me, but I guess I don't. I know I have one or two. One's a Tucker Sharp that I really don't like, other than maybe the first day because it dries up.
I'm gonna.
All right, gentlemen, your opinions on Schaefer PFMs.
My opinion on them. It's. I hate the name with like such a passion.
Yeah, it's a stupid name, but
if they were called, the executive Targa or something, it's as bad as the Lady Script Cert,
right.
The demanding the gender of the owner sort of bothers me. But I like everything about them other than that. I mean, I have one of them back. It was the one that was willed to me by a pen collector who died, and I probably sold it to him. And so I have it back. So I have one in my collection again. I'm trying to find the Waterman nib that's going to be winging its way to you sometime soon.
Oh, yeah, that one for my Sterling Waterman.
So let me just see which, because what I did was I put it, well, this isn't it, I don't think. Oh, it might be. Uh-oh, what was that? Is that you or me?
That was something ka-chinging on my computer over here.
I see. So here is a Waterman 52V, 52.5V, just like your pen.
Right.
So it has some give to it.
Is that a red thing on? What is that red thing on it?
It's my.
Oh, is it just like a piece of tape or something you
It's a
put on
piece
there?
of tape. Yeah, it was this plastic. I found a bunch of them in one of my neighbors who was a graphic designer died, and once the good stuff of value was sold, the artists came in and sort of gave what we felt we could afford for the stuff that no one wanted to buy.
The leftovers, yeah.
And so I got a lot of paper from her, and she was a graphic designer, so she had reams of paper that she would use for her clients, but they were all, bent and dinged and shop worn and stuff. And there was this tape was used by her it was for masking things for print, I think. And she had lots of different widths of this tape in different colors. So it was used somehow in making editing or doing something on print, things that were going to be printed, photographed for print or something. I don't quite understand. So here's a nib that might be the nib that you will get, or it might be, no. Is it this one?
Was that a little cartoon you were drawing over there about the PFM?
I'm trying to do a Schaefer pen for men cartoon, and it's my lady's hair is failing, so I think I need to draw her face in.
I like.
Oh, she's got ugly hair. I better work on her hair.
Well,
what is the He-Man Woman Haters Pen Club?
Yeah.
I do find your you sort of draw muscles on your muscle boy pen there, man.
Yeah, I was trying to make him look like he had no neck, but that kind of failed.
No, he does have a neck, but he has muscles that remind me of how Charles Schultz drew. Who was the guy that was messy?
Oh,
no.
Pigpen.
Pigpen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he always was followed by a cloud.
Big cloud of Beatrice.
And oh, you've given her. There's her eyes. Okay, good.
Yeah, she kind of looked like Annie there for a second, so I got to put some irises in.
And she has her pearl necklace. And
this is the latest pin that I've gotten.
What is that?
Valiant snorkel. Yes, another one.
A Valiant snorkel. I don't know the names of those things.
It's just a 14 karat gold fine nib snorkel.
Let me see.
Plastic cap, hence the model name Valiant. But I got it for $40 shipped.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And when I got it, look at the condition it's in now.
Yeah.
It's almost mint condition.
And what was it before?
It had a little bit of micro scratching and stuff, but I literally just cleaned it and wiped it down, and it's like back to showroom condition.
I see.
But I thought $40 was a pretty daggone good deal.
Try that one. This is a wearer with a gold nib.
Oh.
But it's a nice gold nib. It's very rubbery.
How rare are wearevers with gold nibs, Pierre?
They're pretty rare.
I was gonna say I thought almost all of them were just steel or gold plated or something.
They also had the inlaid gold nib.
Yeah.
Awful things.
Wasn't it more that had the actual thing they called the fingertip or fingernail nib or something?
Fingertip.
Yeah.
The nib we're talking about, Waski, is it looked like you started with a regular steel nib, and what they did was they got their jigsaw and they cut out the inside, and they somehow cut out this part.
Okay.
And maybe the point, and then they stapled this little tiny flat piece of gold in his little tabs, like the
playing pens. Huh?
For playing pens.
Is that Maryland?
No, it's Mitch. It's not Maryland.
Oh.
No, this says 14K. It might not be a wherever. It might be though. But it's relatively robust. It's like a springy skyline nib.
Yeah, I've never used a wherever, so that was a first for me.
Well, I'll say this without fear of anyone getting upset. You need not ever try writing with the second. They're not going to get any better than this. Mm-hmm. This is remarkably good. Most of them are really crappy.
That's part of why I've never tried one, because that's what I've heard. Usually you see them like on eBay as a box of 50 for like $20 or something.
Oh yeah, the restoration special.
Yeah.
But it's like you can sell like an Esterbrook after it's been restored. Most wherevers are like $20 pins after they've been restored.
Oh.
And when they were new, if you found one, if you went back in your time machine and found a new one and brought it back and said mint in the box, whatever, wherever, it still would, you'd have people.
Well, wherevers were like the pins that they sold in the cardboard displays that sat on the counter that were 95 cents or something, weren't they?
They were not particularly valuable.
Yeah, they were like the quintessential drugstore fountain pen.
But they did have some that were more expensive, and if Frank Dubiel were alive he loved wherevers. He was all for about the common man, the common.
He was the wherever brand ambassador, huh?
And Nathan Tardif told me that somehow that was part of his scheme if he ever got audited. He never paid taxes, Frank Dubiel, because he always was underneath the poverty level or something. I don't know how he could do that, but he never actually paid taxes. I think he checked a box that said, I'm too poor to do this. And of course, he had safety deposit boxes filled with $100 bills.
Yeah, or something. Mattresses stuffed with money or something.
But he loved wherevers. And I think Nathan said that he didn't really like them, but he needed to have something that he could say was a pen collection that it was for something like, this is my pen collection and it's all worthless, or who knew that these are valuable? I don't really know what his shtick
Meanwhile,
was.
he has an actual pin collection of actually valuable pins somewhere else hidden. Is that what you mean?
No, he never really had any pens. He had pens that were valuable and rather rare in some cases, but he did not actively.
I'm just trying to piece together how this. I don't know
I don't know how
how this method would work to get past.
You'd have to ask Nathan.
Yeah, paying the tax man.
And Nathan would buy pens from Frank and would pay cash money for them, so he'd get a good deal, better deal than Frank would give me often, I guess, because he was getting cash that would go into the safety deposit box. But there was always a pen. There was always something that Nathan would buy after he spent all of his cash money. And he would write a check to Frank for like $10 or $15 for one more pen. And in the little memo, he would say 15 of 3,500 or something. So in Nathan's taxes, he would have a record of spending on that date with that person $3,515.
Mhm.
But
The other person would get audited.
and if the other person got audited, and
Esterbrook, when one nib is not enough. A nib to suit every occasion.
Oh, that's their okay.
that's their shtick. Here's one of those little which now you have many of which now you have many.
Oh, it's the blue, Persian blue.
It's Persian blue in a tuckaway with one of those big honking nibs sticking on it. So it's
That ticks like 3 different boxes for my collection, Pierre.
does this? This is one of the
Yes,
ones
totally.
This is one of the ones I brought to sell you. So I guess I've got the.
Well, you're just gonna have to sell it to me then, aren't you?
I guess I am, aren't I? The thing is, well, I guess it's. What's wrong with it? Is there something wrong with it?
Yes, find things wrong so I can haggle the price down.
No. I mean, it seemed to me maybe I didn't have one of my own, but I don't care. It's one of these pens that there are pens that belong.
Well, I love the big honkin' nib Schaefers. You just can't beat these things.
I was wondering whether the cap is supposed to be on a Triumph nib or not. There is.
Well, this one's a white nib cap, and I know it goes with this pen.
Yeah.
And it's just a regular two-tone Statesman nib.
Okay.
So as far as I know, these were definitely white dot pens, despite not saying lifetime or anything on the nib.
There is a slight imperfection to this. I don't know if you can see, but there's the cap.
Oh, the bulge in the cap? That's really common for those.
Well, as long as it's common, then it's not going to bother.
Yeah, this one has it too. You can kind of see a bulge right here. It's the inner cap sleeve inside the cap.
the threads on this are metal on the inside, and so the plastic shrinks, but not the same way it would, in the other. If it was all plastic, you wouldn't have that feel.
Yeah, the plastic shrinks and the metal inner parts don't, so that's what you get, that little ridge. The other thing that happens to these a lot of the time too is you get the little ridge right here where the O-ring is, because this is really early. I think this is polystyrene, but this is one of the earliest like mass-produced injection molded pins using this material, and this stuff didn't quite hold up nearly as good as whatever material they went on to use to make like snorkels and stuff later. Because snorkels can have cracks and stuff too, but generally speaking, this plastic doesn't shrink as bad as this stuff did. I don't know why, but
Look at
that's
this
just
one.
been my experience.
Yes. It's another blue, big honkin' nib, tuck away with a two-tone cap.
Oh, it looks like a sovereign cap or something. Has it got the wavy lines?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that model would be called. But that other one is like a Persian blue Statesman tuckaway. The metal cap one, I don't know what it would be called.
Well, it's a tuckaway cap.
Yeah, it's definitely some sort of tuckaway, but what it is, I have no idea.
Well, the barrel is blue and has a big honkin' nib. So
thumbs up.
But anyway, so we'll try to get these to you next week. I'll take a picture. The other blue ones, as I said, I put all the blue ones in this one needs its little collar on the metal piece on the barrel.
Up until like, I don't know, a couple months ago, I didn't have any of those blue Schaefers.
It needs everything else too. I mean, it needs, this is a standard TM in blue.
Well, that's good because I have sacks and seals and everything for all of those.
And here's another one. See, I these all were ones I put aside for you, and then I forgot about you.
Yeah, and then you lost them, and then refound them, and then you left to Minnesota. So,
and I brought them with me.
That's all right.
Now I just have to.
Because when you first met me, the one thing you said, and you're like, "How are you so patient, Mitch?" I said, "I don't know."
He gets a box in the mail, and he waits for weeks.
No, not weeks,
but
maybe days.
Maybe days for the right moment to open. I just tear it open in front of the mailman. Give it to me.
You don't even take it out of his hands before you start opening the box.
He gives the boxes to me. He said, "Here, you got a box. Where is it?" I snap. Larry says, "It's over here." Oh. Now here's a Webster. See, this is a Webster that's trying to be, I don't know what they were trying to be.
Would you two like a beverage or something?
I'm good right now.
Okay, Piermont.
Do we have white wine?
There's white wine if you want white wine.
Is it cold?
It could be cold.
With an ice cube?
Maybe.
Waski likes white wine.
You like white wine?
Yeah, I drink it.
With an ice cube? My father had.
Oh, Audrey took them, I bet.
Oh.
I mean, there's White Claw, which is kind of that way. Have you ever had White Claw?
No.
What are you writing with now, Waski?
Just a Kaveco Sport. I was trying to draw a box, but I kind of failed.
Okay.
Is that like a modern one?
Yeah.
I just looked weird from the angle. Oh, okay.
Oh, here we go. Now I'm on screen.
Yeah, I can see it now. It was kind of in the shadows, so I couldn't tell what it was.
Try this one, Waski.
Oh, we got a Bartholomew in chat.
Bartholomew.
Yeah.
Mr. Canada.
If you would say like a flavor, I mean, like there's watermelon, there's lemon, there's
AKA Canada.
Me or him, Waski?
Yeah.
Oh, they come in flavors?
Yeah, they come in flavors.
I'll have a mango.
Bonjour, bonjour.
You mango?
Yeah, sure.
Watermelon?
Watermelon, sure.
Watermelon? Give it a try, right?
Right. Like I said, I've never.
I actually like these little Kameco sports, and
And if you don't like these, you can throw it right back in the
Here you go, Bartholomew. Now you'll be hypnotized.
oh, here.
Oh, I saw a pen with a cap like that.
So it sort of has a cap like a military clip Schaefer,
Mm.
but that nib is another one that would be right up your. I haven't plugged it in. Right up your street in terms of
Just down here so you can
this.
see a little
This
bit
is
better.
this is one that wants to
You
be
wanna-
Thank you.
heavy-handed. I mean, this seems to be asking for that. So, did you see Apple Boom's 3 favorite
Little
pens
detail.
Thank
by people, effects and all?
Oh yeah, I watch those all the time, and I nominated you to be the next one.
Well, he interviewed the owner of Kaveco
Mm-hmm.
last time. It just started. I don't know if you saw the most recent one.
No, I haven't watched that one yet.
And Kaveco, none of them were his own pens. They were all Watermans, I think.
I can respect that though.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I think he started it, restarted Kaveco because he was interested in pens, not.
Not because his father's name is Kaveco. Or
Yeah.
he inherited the company.
That'd be kind of like a politician, putting in a vote for themselves. You know what I mean? It'd be
Yeah.
a little suspicious.
But he could,
These are my 3 favorite pens, and they just happen to be
Yeah.
manufactured by my company, from which I benefit from.
this is the only person that can possibly do this job of all Americans, and it's my son-in-law who doesn't know a butt fuck about COVID.
He's perfect. He's not as cute as my daughter who I date, but he's perfect.
So Bartholomew, are you still in the room? Would you like to join us, Bartholomew? Just your voice?
I'm willing to bet the answer to that is probably not.
Well, what's wrong with him? Why is he so shy or whatever?
Oh, I was just surprised to see him in chat.
Yeah. Well,
Glad, but
he ran away or something. Okay, Mr. Squirrel, what is this here for?
have you? Sorry about the dings here.
Mhm.
Ka-ching. I was going to ask Waski if he ended up selling his Viscontis or what happened with all that.
I haven't sold anything yet. I am keeping that particular Visconti, but
Try that one.
yeah, I'm hoping to do some selling.
That has absolutely no flexibility of any sort whatsoever.
I was just wondering, like, being that these Viscontis tend to be like most people's Grail pens, they're a pretty popular Grail pen. And for my own experiences, having wanted one real bad and then going through the process of buying one, it had problems, nib problems, ink leaking, sending them back. Now I have 2 of these that are really good pens. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
It kind of seems like the novelty wears off once you actually own one. They're still really good pens, but I don't know. The reality of maybe the hype of this pen being a little bit larger than life than the pen itself.
Yeah, I think that's.
I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, those Grail pens, sometimes that's how it turns out is, I want it, and then you get it, and nothing can live up to your expectations.
Right. It's not that the pen's necessarily bad or junk or anything. It's just
Bartholomew Brecht asks someone to ask Waski, so it will be me. Hey, someone ask Waski what Lamy 2000 nibs he currently owns.
I own a fine and a broad. and none of them are here with me.
You didn't bring any Lamy 2000s? I'm shocked.
Nah, giving it a break for the summer.
Oh, well. That's the thing too. Like I love Lamy 2000s, but I don't know. It's not a bad pen. I just never hardly use mine.
Yeah, I enjoy them. They're just
I
nothing
just kind of have to be in the mood for one. I go through a phase where I love using the 2000, and then it gets put away, and I don't see it again for 6 months. That's just kind of how I am.
kind of depends on what I'm doing. For writing, I like the fine nib. The broad nib is more if you're trying to show off an ink.
Here's a Swan pen, Mr. Bartholomew. I think he likes.
That's pretty.
And the weird thing about Swans is their levers are way too big. Like there's no reason why a lever has to be wider than the pen is in diameter.
The farmer.
It's for the farmer. It's just
Big hands.
it's very funny. It's sometimes you see it on a pen that's much thinner than this. You'll see the lever is still ridiculously long, and the pen is way down here. And if Mr. Physics, you would say there's a reason for that. You put the fulcrum, closer it is to your fingertip, the harder it is to push the thing or lift the thing. But we're not talking about moving boulders.
No,
We're
just
talking
kind
about
of squish
pushing
a piece of metal against the rubber thing.
So they don't need to be big at all. But there's just something about those pens that have these really big, long levers that don't make any sense.
Well, I know that's why I was surprised the first time I ever touched a button filler. And you see something like that, and then you're just like, and that's it. And
that's all. You just do it the once.
it just fills it.
I was shocked the first time I had a Parker button filler at how stiff most of them are.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, like a Vacuumatic, you can just use one finger, but those things, you really got to put some force on them.
A little bit of muscle to it.
Yeah.
What's his name? Bartholomew said, tell that to the John Holland hatchet filler.
The weird.
They were weird.
They had pins that were like coin fillers, or there wasn't really anything. It was just a slot, and you just stuck a coin in there to compress the sack.
Or the matchstick filler.
Oh,
yeah, my matchstick fillers. They had a bunch of weird one-off type things like that.
There's some I have that are match or coin.
What I like is I like the lever on this little wall. It's so tiny.
Yeah,
it's an itty bitty lever.
That's very funny. The Conklin pens often have little tiny levers too, and they, if you cut the pen open, you see that there's a lot of lever that's underneath the pen that you can't see.
Yeah, there's an extra little mechanism under there to like multiply the force.
Yes.
Is that the one that has like, oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? It's got like supports on the lever. When you lift it up, you see them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had this pen open before, but yeah, I was amazed at how itty bitty this little lever was, and it works perfectly fine. Yeah. It's just as easy to fill as any other pen.
I don't know where the pin is on that. I think the pin it's unseen, the little ring that holds it in, and it's below. It's not on the part of the lever you see. A cross section of that lever would look like this.
Right. Yeah, I would love to see a exploded parts diagram of what this thing looks like inside, because I really have no idea.
So here's the lever where your finger goes, and then it comes down here like this, and the pin is here. So the barrel, and it has little hooks here that go into the thing.
Yeah, the actual little bar that hangs off of it.
It's a much more complicated thing. Normal wall levers are just this big, and they're wide, and they've got a pin here and the little hooks. But this little dog leg thing that they do here is to make the lever smaller, I guess. I mean, it seems like you're adding all sorts of trauma to the.
Well, wasn't that part of the not copyright patent thing? Because
Could be.
Schaefer patented.
Yeah,
lever
Schaefer invented the lever filler,
But
supposedly.
they all had to do something a little different, just so. Oh, it's not a Schaefer, so it's my own thing.
Yeah, variations on a theme so they could get around it, I guess. Oh, Bartholomew is telling me to show that pin off, but it's not even inked up, so I can't really do that right now.
Which pen
Not only that, but how am I going to do that with my forward-facing webcam?
you aim it down.
I mean, I could, but
I see. It's on the lid of your camera.
yeah, it's on the lid of my laptop, so it's not really.
Poof.
Yeah, don't balance that so it's upside
Poof.
down. That would be expensive.
Yeah.
Bartholomew Brecht, how do you say poof in French and in German? Translate that for us.
Yeah, translate.
Translates.
Oh.
He said poof as thumbing his nose at Fextenal's laziness.
Is signaling his displeasure with me.
Displeasure. But so in German, is it has to have an umlaut on
At least.
on the third F.
He says you just did the translation without knowing it, Pierre.
Let's see.
What pen brand was it that had the lever upside down?
Meaning it pulled from the front. It's like the
Yes,
hoods of a British
That's
car.
like a suicide door
It's totally
lever.
backwards.
Yeah.
Edson did that. And again, it's a way to get around the thing. But
Yeah.
in a sense, that makes more sense because you're holding the pen in the ink, and you could more easily do it
Yeah.
with one finger because you're holding the
Oh,
pen
yeah,
like,
that
and you
is more
pull
of
it
a
up like that
natural-
rather than like this. So in a sense, it actually makes it work better.
Were there ever pins where it was still like a sack arrangement inside, but there was like some sort of a slider or something that would fill the pin?
Well,
Yeah.
didn't Conklin have one that you sort of had to?
Well, Conklin had the little deal where it would lock the,
Yeah.
the crescent that you pushed, but
For Bartholomew, it says something funny. He said he'd totally buy a suicide lever pen. Waski spit up his drink.
with some custom
Fun man,
flames
Bartholomew.
pinstriping on it. Yeah.
Funny man, Bartholomew. You see, we're missing. If you said that right out loud without me having to read it an hour later, it would have been just perfect. So there's if you can imagine a Waterman lever box but backwards. I think there's a Dunhill, or was it Conway Stewart, where they had it was somehow the opposite way, where there was a rod that was stuck at the front and the back of the pen barrel, and then on either side of it, it had the lever that moved somehow.
Huh.
So, unlike the boxing lever of a Waterman, has this thing connected all together in one piece. This had one piece as well, but it was the inside that was stable, not the outside. Does that make sense?
Vaguely, and part of your drawing is obscured by your little name box. Okay, there we go.
So here's the hole where the right now it's the coin filler. Okay, and then you attached to the barrel a rod,
Right.
and then you put a pin through it, which then held this complicated lever system. So it looked like a box and lever of a Waterman.
Yeah.
But when you lifted it up,
But instead of having a frame around it, it's got the
it wasn't
rod.
the inside that moved; it would be the outside. Now I can't remember who. I think it's a British company, Dunhill or Conway Stewart, but it's a way to get around the patent. that you had.
I was just thinking, I've only got one Conway Stewart at hand. It's just a normal lever.
You have 45s, don't you?
Yeah, I have two of them.
You have a flighter?
No,
that
one
is-
looks like one looks like this. It's gray.
Okay.
Do you want a flighter?
Yeah. The flighter has the metal,
Yeah.
brushed metal thing. Flighters, there's
I have tons of 45s. Flighters are like my favorite version of it too.
Oh,
I
oh,
have
it looks like you're not using black ink in this pen.
it's probably blue.
Here's
I-
one I got from Pierre. And Pierre sold me this pen, and he's like, "Oh, it's got a steel nib in it." And then I got it. It's 10 karat gold.
Well,
Parker with a 10 karat gold.
Waski
Yeah, the
collector
the really late
the
ones,
shoe
they use 10
fighting
karat gold for
for
some
the
reason.
pens and go for the Russian pens instead.
Yeah, Russian pens are kind of tricky though, because some of them have those accordion fillers, and just what do I do with that?
Yeah, how exactly do you repair the accordion filler?
Well, you
kind of don't.
kind of don't.
I have somebody told me that you can sort of make them work with a regular sack. I just haven't been brave enough to try it yet.
Well, that's the thing, though. If you crunch a sack down like that, it's not going to expand the same way. If
No, it's not
you
going
know,
to.
right?
Now, how do you crunch it down with a? It's glue. It's the back end of an accordion is attached to a hard rubber or plastic rod,
Mhm.
right? And you take off the back thing and there's this long stick sticking out of it, and you push down, right?
Mhm.
And then you pull up.
Yeah, it's usually like a button. It just is kind of the ones I have spring back by themselves.
Okay. Well, there's one that I have that you unscrew the back, and there's this little you take off the blind cap, and there's something that looks like this with a pen,
Mhm.
and then you pull out
Oh,
from this. It's like a jackknife. You pull out an extra length, so now you've got this much to squish, and then it squishes the stack, and then
Mhm.
you let it come out when it's full, and you put it back, and you put the blind cap on. If there's any amount of if the thing that you have that sticks out that you normally would push, you can turn it, you can wring it out, a Waterman.
uh-huh.
So you could somehow attach it to that, and you just twist it, and it'll wring it out like this.
The other one I'm not a big fan of is these ones that you find in some of these communist pens like this, where it's like a captured converter.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
And some of them you can unscrew down here. A lot of them, I think they're glued in.
they're probably permanently glued together. Yeah.
And I've got one or two pens I'd love to fix, but I can't figure out how to get in there.
Would you even be able to find a new little seal for that converter, though?
Yeah, well, I figured even if I use some O-rings or something.
Yeah, that's true. You could probably, get something to work that way.
what
Here's
do
a
you
good
say?
question. The last time I was able to talk to you on Pierre's channel, Waski, was we were talking about Parker 61s and the capillary filling
Yeah.
system. I think I even offered to send you one or something, but then you got your own. And what are your thoughts and opinions on the 61 now after having used one?
I was pretty pleased with it. Once I got it cleaned out, I kind of wished I had I'd known about your suggestion to soak it and use that to clean it out. But yeah,
I still say the best way to clean those 61s is to get the little bulb off of an eyedropper and just pull it off and stick that on the back of the capillary cell, and it turns the whole pin into an eyedropper,
yeah,
and it makes it super easy to clean out.
I did some of
Another way
that.
to clean it out is to put it in your mouth and blow and blow and blow, and then keep it in your mouth and suck in. But you have to know when to stop sucking, because my mouth was full of Parker blue-black ink at a pen show, and it looked like, of course, people knew what I did.
Yeah. Well, in my chemistry class, I teach them not to mouth pipette. So
Yeah, that's usually verboten in most chemistry science courses.
Well, at a pen show, if you don't have an inky mouth, you're not playing with the.
Yeah, if your hands aren't covered and your teeth aren't blue, you're not a serious pen collector.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
You're.
I don't know. I just always felt like the 61 was kind of an underappreciated pen. So I like to be a bit of an ambassador for him because I really like him.
Hey, Will Hodge, Waski.
Oh, Will's here too.
Have you or Mitch or Bartholomew? I think Bartholomew might be the only person in the room here that has seen this show. Maybe we can watch it tonight on the TV. Waski.
okay.
It's a movie called 1, 2, 3. Have you heard of it, Effects and all?
No.
And
1,
have
2,
you-
3.
1, 2, 3. And Bartholomew, have you heard of it? Todd, do you remember the movie 1, 2, 3? We went to the Gull Lake Drive-In Theater with Mom to watch it. You probably don't.
If it was a drive-in, this had to have been a while ago.
It was a while ago. It was made.
Yeah.
It was made before Kennedy's assassination.
How old am I?
You were alive when Kennedy died.
Was it 1963 or something?
It was probably 62, and it stars Jimmy Cagney as a Coca-Cola.
Oh,
You know the movie?
he's in Germany.
He's in Germany. Have you seen the
Yes.
movie?
And he's trying to fix the guy from the Magnificent Seven up with his daughter.
Yes. You see the
Yes,
movie?
I remember that now.
Isn't it fun?
It was actually kind of. I always remembered the communist car that fell apart.
The communist car that fell apart. But it's really a fun movie. It's very fast and very witty. And I think if you hadn't seen it, I think you would have loved it.
Oh, I loved it when I saw it.
But you must have, well, you didn't see it original. I saw it.
I was not even thought of yet when it came out.
You must have seen it on the first run.
But and Wyatt got to the Bloomington, I mean,
This one.
clearly was Kennedy, we didn't go up to the lake until after that happened. So I don't understand. But anyway, we could have been at the Tinkle Paws, but it's very weird. Anyway, it's a great movie. I think you would enjoy it, Effects and all.
1961, apparently.
One of those
you looked it up?
madcap kind of humor. Is it madcap? Is what it's called?
It's sort of slapstick.
Yeah, it's not really deep level intellectual humor.
It isn't deep level intellectual humor, but there's a lot of. It's like watching The Simpsons. There's
a lot of
funny.
cultural references.
There's a lot of cultural references that, if you like history, you'd love it. If you were present at its first showing, you would get all the inside jokes because they were there. I mean, it was current events.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Bartholomew, I think, would like it too, because it does involve. I don't know if there were people speaking German, but they didn't bother with subtitle. 1961.
Yeah, because the son-in-law, well, the one he was trying to fix up as a son-in-law was an East German, and I forget why he wanted him to date his daughter though.
He didn't want the daughter was in love with him.
Oh, that's right. She
And-
went behind his back.
And the father is this southern white, plantation owning kind of guy, and he gives Jimmy Cagney the job of being a chaperone to the daughter.
You can watch it on YouTube.
Oh, it's on.
Oh,
YouTube?
it's
Whenever
on
they say, "Oh, that's a great guy." I'm sorry.
No.
I was gonna say it couldn't be out of copyright yet.
I mean,
Well, Bartholomew has been on a bit of a ancient Egypt kick here lately, and he sent me a bunch of ebooks online. So this is what I've been reading here lately.
Oh,
the tomb of Tutankhamun,
Howard Carter,
the
the guy that discovered the tomb of Tutankhamun.
and his house was the one that they used for Downton Abbey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the High Cliff or High whatever it's called was his
Huh.
family seat.
I didn't know that. That's funny because my mom's a big fan of that Downton Abbey.
I think that's true. Bartholomew would know. I bet.
Probably.
If I'm incorrect in my. And here's another one.
Yeah, he's had me on this big ancient Egypt kick here lately.
There was a guy that worked at the Museum of Fine Arts who I sort of had a crush on, and he had a crush on me. And why didn't things go to first base? I don't quite know, but they never quite did. Anyway, I introduced him when I was in an art gallery. He stopped in when I was having a show, and I introduced him to my gallery director, and I said, "Oh, this is Mr. XYZ," and he thinks art sort of stopped at about the time of Christ, and Peter, I'll just say his name. Peter said, "Oh no, much earlier." But what was I going to say about him? His claim to fame is he ended up going to upstate New York to work at a museum up there to be a director, I guess, of the museum. And it was this weird museum owned by this guy, or originally founded by this guy that just collected oddments of stuff. And it turns out that there was this mummy, and everyone had mummies back then. You would buy them and grind them up and eat them with your breakfast cereal.
Well, there was even an industry of people creating fake mummies
fake
and
mummies to
right.
And used for cosmetics and all sorts of stuff. And anyway, he had this mummy. This mummy was in this collection, and he thought it was special, and it turned out to be special. It was the mummy of Ramses II, like the most mummy.
How lucky could you get? Right.
And it was at this podunk thing, and so there's this Nova episode about that mummy, and Peter's in it, and they don't really give him a lot of credit, but he essentially gave the mummy back to Egypt. He didn't sell it. He, reunited it to. But
that's a pretty good guy to have done something like that.
They talked to this other Egyptologist, and he said, "Oh yes, this is. I can smell it. I can smell that it's royalty because they use different."
Yeah, they use special preparation, whatever oils and whatever. Yeah, in the embalming process.
Yeah. So he, are you my mummy?
What are you going to be buried in here?
I'm going to be buried in ink. What is? Oh,
it is. I forget where it was. It was something about this kid walking around during World War II in England. Some movie I've seen. And he was wearing a gas mask, and he just said, "Are you my mummy?"
Mummy, are you my
and then
mummy?
More and more of them kept appearing, and I can't remember what the movie was, but it was just this great effect. It was, you wouldn't think a kid in a gas mask could be scary, but
oh, I see. That's his gas mask.
Yeah,
rather than his
pupilless,
like the woman you drew.
Right.
It didn't have pupils either. I guess Bartholomew has left the conversation. Will, are you still here?
Yeah, I haven't seen Will write anything for a bit either.
Well, there's 3 people, it says. So, Todd, my brother is making us BLTs and potato salad.
Potato salad. Or maybe some other kind. Well, yeah.
Potato salad. My grandmother used to call potatoes potato. Potato. No T in it at all.
No, you make the best potatoes. How do you do it? Well, I put them in the oven.
Potatoes. I can't even say it.
Potato.
Potato. Okay.
You make the best potatoes.
I discovered that roasting them really does a lot better than boiling them.
Yeah.
Of course, it heats up the
Well,
kitchen real fast.
you kind of have to know my grandmother. She didn't really know how to cook. She knew how to cook one dish. And to this
I am a certified potato salad addict, so
Will Hodge is still here. Would you like to join us, Will? Do you have your pants on and a shirt?
technically you don't even need your pants on. So as long as the camera's above a certain point, right?
Right.
I would think.
Yeah, I scandalized somebody when they saw my bare leg in one of my videos.
Oh,
I am
dear.
wearing shorts. I'm not naked. But they could see it down through the slats in my desk.
I don't know. I thought after COVID and lockdown and all these Zoom meetings and everything, everyone would be perfectly comfortable with the idea of, only dressing up from the waist above. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Figure that would become more normalized than it has been.
One of my roommates in Boston was mortified when she was watching me iron my shirt, and I ironed.
I would be mortified.
My brother would be mortified.
Anybody would be.
Anyway, I ironed my shirt for work, and I would iron the front and the cuffs because that's all the part that they saw. I was wearing this monkey suit above it. Like, why do I bother? Making the back unwrinkled.
I used to go, when I was more religious, I used to go to this old church that had a old wood stove in the kitchen. They didn't use it anymore, but it had a spot for putting a thingy on it for putting your iron to heat it up to iron your clothes. One of those
right.
irons you'd heat up.
And it was just like a slab of iron, cast iron.
Yeah.
That was your iron.
That was your iron heater.
Well, there's Marilyn.
Hello, Marilyn. Would you like to join in and talk to Waski Squirrel? I'll prove that you're here.
Well, I'm actually going to have to jump off here in a few. Oh, he's even wearing a squirrel shirt.
Yeah.
See, you saw the sign I put up for him?
Yeah, that was great.
He said he liked it.
Yeah.
And I even bought new shorts for this, and I really am wearing shorts.
He is wearing shorts, and they're from Dickinson, and they are shiny, bright red. I could see him from across the river in Minneapolis.
I could not find shorts in my size, and I went to the counter once, and luckily the lady at the register says, "I don't think you want these." And it turns out they were triple extra large. I didn't notice the 3 in front of the XL. So I went back for what I wanted, and there's almost nothing in my size.
What size do you take?
Usually either a large or an extra large. I'm still working back toward getting to the large again, but
Waski is I said you're bigger in real life than on TV, and
Aren't they all?
That's true for everyone, though.
Broad-shouldered is what I
Yeah,
meant.
lenses make everyone look different.
You're not fat or anything, but you're just. I sort of imagined him to be like you, Todd.
Yeah.
And you're fat, but.
wow.
I'm offended.
But there's something there. I was a little surprised. You were, and it wasn't. It was just you were more broad-shouldered. You know when you see you from
Here
the up and what?
Marilyn said she's waiting.
Oh, she's waiting. Of course, she's waiting.
Yeah.
All right, Marilyn. Add to stream.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Might be for lunch one day.
You had lunch?
Yeah.
That's right. Hi, Mitch. Hi,
Howdy.
Paul. Hi, Pierre. Hello, Mr. Squirrel. How are you
Hello.
doing?
Pretty good.
Good. How's Minnesota?
It's good. It's a little busier than where I live.
I was gonna say.
Luckily, I was driving. He would be on life support if he
Yeah,
was driving.
I'd still be downtown hyperventilating.
Well, here isn't much better.
Oh.
Well,
What do you mean not much better?
Here, you backed my car out of the driveway last time and you ran into the fence.
How did I do that?
And I let you drive my car.
Well, your car, Waski, looks like it's driven into a fence from time to time because its trim on the side is missing too.
Yeah, well that's the side toward the west, so it gets all the west. That's the side with all the rust too.
What do you mean toward the west?
When I park it in my driveway, that's the side that faces west.
That is like the lamest thing I've ever heard in my life.
So your car should be like the Constitution and they switch it every
You should
six
switch
Yeah.
it. You should switch it. You should back into your driveway.
No, my house looks good on every side except I've got to paint the west side again.
months. Just park your car on it.
I mean, it's North Dakota. We get all that wind.
Park your car on that side, Don said. Block it.
oh, jeez.
Do you have your bicycle back, Marilyn?
No, it got stolen.
Well, I know. I asked you if you got it back.
No, not yet.
Are you getting another one? Was it insured?
No.
Can you even insure a bicycle?
Well,
Yeah,
this
you
is-
can, but it wasn't. It has to be over a certain amount of money before they'll insure it.
And this was a motorized bicycle, motorized tricycle, right?
Electric bicycle. Yeah.
Tricycle, though.
No, bicycle.
Oh, it was a two-wheeler?
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was a three-wheeler.
I've seen a couple of those e-bikes.
Because you were going to do shopping, I thought. I didn't realize it was a bicycle.
Yeah, it was a two-wheeler.
Okay.
So I got a brand new Waterman. Want to see? A brand new Waterman.
Brand new
If it-
vintage. Brand new vintage
If-
one.
A brand new vintage one. Yes.
Eyedropper, Phil?
Yes, it's an eyedropper. It's Waterman 12, and it still has the orange bit in it.
Yeah.
So that's
I-
pretty cool.
I would have thought that you would think that was too thin, Ms. Marilyn.
It is very thin, but
Is Too thin?
it's an eyedropper, and it's very nice.
Okay.
I don't like the grip section, but other than that, I mean, you know who turned me on to this? Your friend, Todd Merrill. Todd Merrill sent me a link to this guy, and he was like, "You have to buy this pen," and I was like, "Okay." And then I talked to the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, you want it? It's like $97," and I was like,
Oh,
I was like $9,700, and he's like, no, just $97, and I was like,
oh,
are
that's
you
great.
insane? I was like,
That is a pretty daggone good deal.
And what is it? Is it a boinga boinga nib?
well, I mean, it's tighter than Boinga Boinga. It's a lot tighter than Boinga Boinga, and it's even tighter than the hard nib that you gave me.
Uh-huh.
But it's a lot finer because
When did
Looks
I
like
give
it's still got some decent line variation, anyways.
oh yeah, it's nice.
But that's
Well,
the thing. Like, not too many people buy most Watermans because they look fantastic. You're buying a Waterman because of the nib.
Right.
So
That's the thinnest line that Boinga Boinga can do.
So,
And
so Ms. Darling,
and
you're
yes.
you're using. There's a friend of mine from from New Hampshire that collects Watermans or pens, and he holds up a Waterman 12 all the time, and he said, why would they even think they could improve on this?
Yeah, I agree.
It, I mean, and his had a clip, so that was an improvement. But there's something so simple about it. It has, if you have one that doesn't have a clip, you have a pen that has 1, 2, 3, 5 parts only,
Right.
and but that pen is, when you're writing with it, holding it in your hand, the barrel it's completely smooth. There's no threading, there's no bumps, there's no nothing. It's the
Yeah,
closest
nothing.
thing to a dip pen that you can find.
Yeah. This is exactly why I wanted it, was because I could just dip and try new inks and then just swish it about, in the water and be on my way. But
even if you fill
this
it
is
up, though, it feels like a dip nib because there's no thread. There's no need for anything other than this slightly tapered cylinder.
Yeah,
There's no.
it's wonderful.
No
It's
Simple.
beautiful. It's so finely well shaped. I mean, it's in really good shape. Like this on this one, like the lettering is so faded you can't even see it.
No.
Yeah, you can see it's brown and oxidized too.
It's really, and like the 12 POC is starting to die, but this one, it's like brand new out of the box. It looks like.
Did you get that?
I mean, to me,
from Mick Mercantile?
No, I got this from a man in England.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was like, yeah, I want 97 pounds for it. And I was like, 97 pounds of what? I was like, I can send you my 97 pounds. Here you
97 quid.
So, yeah, this is probably the best deal I've ever had.
Well, that's great.
Tell you.
I'm very happy that
2 bob and a tenner, mate.
And I'm also happy that that you like the size of it, because I was surprised. Because you didn't like the metal pen I sent you that's essentially the same size. You thought it was too thin.
Which metal one?
I sent it to you to try out.
The gold thing. Ugh.
Yeah,
that thing.
Yes.
You know why I didn't like it? It's because it had a metal section.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not the
slippery metal section, and it was very thin. And this is very thin, but it has it doesn't have any weight to it.
More.
That's the other difference that I'm noticing. That metal pen was heavy and it was thin, and holding on to a thin metal pen for long periods of time, it's heavy, and you'd think that it would just start slipping out of your fingers,
Well, that's why ebonite and celluloid make such good materials to make pens out of, because they're just not as slippery as metal or even plastic.
I don't know who made these pens, but the Boinga Boing, the POC and this 12 are made completely by different people.
They're made by the same company.
I know, but I'm just saying. But this one feels like a substantial pen. It's heavier, and this one feels like a Jinhao 992. It's I'm afraid to drop it because it's so fragile. Feeling but this one, I could throw this up against a wall and probably hurt somebody.
Don't you dare even try.
Yeah, no, I would. Not unless it's an emergency.
Yes, if you find the person that stole your bike, you could throw it at them.
Okay, that's worth it.
This is like your rose glow. No, not your rose glow. Your carmine.
So, I got 2 new pens. Want to see? I got this here, Fountain Pen Revolution Himalaya in amethyst.
Okay.
It's very chatoyant and beautiful, and it has an extra flexi. They call it an ultra flex nib.
But is it really?
Oh my god, you have no idea. This is the best. Oh my god, look. I have a
Really?
blue one. I have a blue one. And this thing is like, okay, are you ready for this? Are you sitting down?
I'm down.
Okay.
Wow.
I can't even flex it out all the way because the bottom of the feed hits the paper.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I love it. They make excellent flex nibs. Like, I don't know how this guy came upon, this idea to do the cutout, because it's basically a noodler's flex nib, except with the sides chopped
Oh
out of
yeah, you can see
Okay.
the sides are really cut narrow.
That's like a
it. Yeah.
Except,
Oh no, this is
I mean,
this
it-
is
it-
way
it
better.
Looks like one, but it is.
I know a lot of those
Pilot
steel flex nibs leave a lot to be desired, so it's good to see one that actually lives up to the name.
This is the Pilot 912, and it sucks. It's
Oh.
terrible. It doesn't keep up with the feed. It's horrible. Don't buy one.
okay.
This
Somewhere
is like
I-
200. This is $200 of wasted time and energy, and
I had
it's
a
just it wasn't
Sure.
worth it.
pen that had 2 little cuts in it that were factory made.
Mhm.
That it was an adjustable nib, so it had big cuts with the adjustable thing on it, but it also had these 2 extra cuts here that were factory done, and it allowed for more flexibility. It was the first pen I bought from the company I own. I paid $12 for the pen. And I was showing someone how beautiful it was. Pressed down too hard.
Ouch.
Oh no!
Oh no.
But it was, if there is a way for you to get your laser saw or whatever could cut gold without damaging it, to cut those little tiny holes right there, either side of the slit that's already there,
Right.
you might find that you're turning it into a. Right now, it looks like a member of the KKK.
Jeez.
Are
Well,
you going to?
Pierre, I still need a nib for this thing because none of the nibs that I own fit this.
Oh, that's the desk
This-
pen.
The desk pen, yeah.
Okay, I don't know why.
So
the-
whenever you get home, you might have to, or I can send it to you and you can find one. I don't know, but I need a nib for it.
Okay.
I'm going to have to get off here, everybody.
Oh, it was nice seeing you. I just want to show you one other thing. I
Okay.
did get this
Oh,
Fountain Pen Revolution Jaipur
it's in
with
what?
the Ultra Flex.
Yep. Your outfit when you wear your white outfit again, Ms. Marilyn, over the subway grate.
Right, exactly.
Speaking of Subway,
Oh, did you get a job?
no, I just happen to have a Subway hat.
I didn't realize that was subway hat. I'm going to. I think we're going to sign off. My brother is getting ready for dinner here, folks. So we'll.
Oh,
Very
okay.
It was nice seeing you.
Well, it was great getting to talk to everybody and talk to Pierre again and everything. So
Say wave. Bye.
take it
Bye-bye.
easy. Good to see you
Bye.
again in chat there, Will. And
Bye.
nice to see you
bye,
again.
Will.
Bye, Marilyn.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.